Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing you news that's going to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business, investment, entrepreneur activity. Today is the 30th of May. Let's talk about it. Now, we have an episode here that is going to diverge a little bit because it's not really related to business investment or anything of that sort. It's related to something that is so very much connected, like an octopus that you can't move away from. I always say, politics is something. Hey, you move left, you hit. You move right, you hit. You try to take a step back, you hit, and you certainly is right there in front of you, and so you can't move forward. And that's pretty much summarizes a good amount of the condition that's going on in the country. And today is a particularly interesting morning when I woke up today, and I had an entire episode planned, an entire different talking point we're going to do today. And we're going to have to push that back to tomorrow because what I saw this morning was so incredible. and of course, my folks who lived here long enough, this is, they tell me, listen, they've seen a lot worse. They've seen a lot more debauchery. But for me, this is news to me. My virgin eyes are seeing this sort of debauchery for the first time. And I don't know. Let's do this. Let's play the first video. Go ahead. Let's play that. What is he? What is he? He's grabbing a table. He's grabbing a table that belongs to the parliament, and this is Don Cato. His full name is Antonio Sherimi. Antonio Sherimi, that's his full legal name. And you see him moving a table. Play the second video. Play the second video. Now what you're seeing here is you're seeing a table being picked up by two other senators. And it's four guys, two other senators being carried outside. And let's freeze frame this. Let's freeze frame right there. Where the police, you can see in the corner, watching these guys. Let's play the other video. Play the other video. Will somebody look at? And here we can see the aftermath of the ransacking of the parliament by four senators. By four. Right? In front of police and law enforcement. And let's just do a quick montage of some photos. Just throw some photos of some of the action, some of the different things we can now, that's currently the state of condition of the parliament right now. Oh man, a lot to unpack, right? This is my Stephen A. Smith moment. What the hell is going on? What the hell, right? You see four senators. Name of these senators. We have Yves-Valéry Bouplin. We have Antonio Sherimi, aka Don Cato, Richard Pierre, and Nenel Cassé. These guys, by themselves, went in the parliament early this morning and took out the desks, the chairs, put them outside on the lawn. Why? So there was a scheduled hearing for the PM today where the PM, there was going to be another attempt to vote in the administration into office, right? The current, if you see my episode before where I was naming the different nominees of the prime minister, who, really, the nominations of Jovenel, ultimately, who were of him trying to get a functioning government. And with PHTK in the majority, it would have been passed, right? If they can actually have the session occur. Previously, these four senators came in with megaphones and totally shut down the voting process. And now this time, to prevent the voting from happening again today, they took out the chairs and desks within the parliament. Wow. All right. And listen, let's take a step back before I really get into it. Let's take a step back and see and find out from them what the conditions are, what they're trying to do. First off, it has to be understood. No, the number one condition is that per an act, a law that was passed in 2006, no cabinet minister should be able to hold more than 2 positions on any post for any head of a department. There shouldn't be more. They can't be able to hold more than 1 post. Right now, as we mentioned, the PM would be PM and also continue to function as the Minister of Culture, right? And there is another senator on the board that would also similarly have held 2 posts. So that's the first. They're saying that is unacceptable, illegal, unconstitutional, and that needs to be changed, right? That's one. The second demand is there's the PM, the previous PM, the previous administration was voted out, right? The parliament came in and did a vote of no confidence and revoked, fired the entirety of the PM and his administration. Eight of about 20 posts had the same ministers come back for renomination. This is unacceptable, right? Because the whole point of firing a previous PM is to also fire his entire government, his entire board. And the fact that they brought back 8, and one in particular, the justice minister, who in their eyes, in the eyes of many people in Haiti, really did the country a disservice, the government a disservice, by allowing the Americans who came in heavily armed under orders of the president to escort and do what folks have called an illegal wire transfer of $60 million out of the country. Right? They came to escort and do this transaction, right? And they were caught with heavy, very much illegal guns in their vehicle. There was no investigation done, and in fact, the Minister of Justice ordered their release, and they very easily, with no handcuffs, were able to get on their plane and leave. No other country. Imagine if Russians came in, former Russian soldiers came into America and escorted, you name your favorite senator, escorted a senator and their their right-hand person to do a questionable wire transfer or bank transaction. It would be a national crisis, and those folks who were part of it would have been arrested. They're saying that should have happened, and the fact that we're going to allow the Minister of Justice, who issued that order, to come back is unacceptable. So that's demand. That's demand number 2. Number 3, right? They want to make available all of the files and transactions and do a proper query of all the prior ministers, which is also part of the process. When a prior administration goes, the Senate is supposed to receive the files of the former minister and then ultimately sign off that there was no malfeasance done, right? Whether or not that ever gets done, that's a whole different question. But they're trying to enforce that. That's number 3. And the last request is to do an open conference inquiry within the Senate for the behavior of Joseph Lambert on one of their 4 members, Richard Pierre, and the fact that on camera, it was seen that there was a physical altercation between those 2, and they want to open this inquiry to ultimately get some punitive measures in place on that action because they felt that it was inappropriate. So those are the 4 demands, right, that they want. And until they get those 4 demands, they refuse to allow any session of the Senate to occur that would allow the PM to be voted in. Okay, here's my Stephen A. Smith. What the hell, right? What do you have? What do you have? Like, you have legitimate issues going on, right? You have a legitimate crisis on every level, on every front. You have government work that can't be done. You have Just yesterday, there was a Senate, a department building that the workers had to physically do a sit-in because they were not paid for over a year. We have police officers in the country right now that haven't been paid in 4 months. Police officers that haven't been paid in 4 months, right? We have a good that's pushing 100 very soon. It's a matter of weeks, perhaps days, before the good is at $100 to $1, right? And so many other legitimate crises, legitimate laws that need to be passed, right? And you have 4 senators who decided to take out every single desk in the parliament to prevent the vote to happen. First off, while we understand that there are certainly questionable things happening because of the 4 things they demanded, 2 of them I can say probably have merit because they're doing the PHTK, Jovenel, and the PM are trying to do things that are unconstitutional at worst, but certainly not advised at best, right? We get that. There's precedent for this sort of behavior during ICE and when ICE was doing certain things, like, for example, disbanding the military, which still to this day is understood as unconstitutional, even though we do have a military back. There were senators who were boldly trying to take a stance to prevent that particular law and that particular executive order from passing the Senate. There's precedent for minority senators to do this sort of behavior, right? And of course, a lot of you guys are asking, why, how can they get away with it? Because certainly there would be no way such an act could happen here in the States, right? Because, no senator, no person is above the law, and they would be arrested. You can't get arrested. You can't get arrested as a senator here in Haiti. You have by Constitution, you're above the law. You can't be arrested. There's a joke. A senator could come up and pull out a gun and shoot you in the head in the middle of the street daylight, and no police officer could arrest that senator. Now, there is a process in place. The Senate would have to vote for that person's legal immunity to be removed, and then that person be arrested, right? But just to show you the extent of which a senator has ceiling to do whatever they want while they're sitting in office. Now, after they're out of office, right, certain things can happen to them, but while they're sitting in office, nothing can happen to them, right? Which is why, to answer folks who are thinking, why they could get away with doing this sort of behavior in front of police, as you saw in the video, and nothing can happen to them, right? So, so this isn't a common thing. This isn't a political show. This isn't a political Haiti politics news. It's not, right? But we when certain things that are extremely extraordinary happen, we do have to take a pause from the business and bring it in and show it. And this was one of those cases where, I did want to take a moment for folks to understand what it is that's going on, right? And the reasons why, though the senators have potentially a legitimate grievance, the way they're going about it, right, is it's inappropriate, to say the least, and incredible to watch, to say the most. And how do you move forward, right? When you have 4 senators who are dead set in preventing the PM from putting in their cabinet, and you have a PM and a majority and a president who are dead set in saying, no, we're going to pass these guys. We don't care about what process is. We don't care about, legality. We don't care, that, we're breaking precedent ourselves. We don't care. We're going to do it, right? And despite, the parliament voting away the entire cabinet, we're going to push a couple more guys back in office, right? So this is where we're at. I don't think there's much more I can say on the topic. I'm not going to follow up with the story because this isn't the point of this program. But I did want folks to understand what was going on, because I'm sure throughout the day, you're going to get throughout your social media streams, this sort of stuff, and you're not going to get the full context of the why, especially if this makes it on CNN, right? Or your mainstream. You're just going to see the dizzle without the full context. So the whole point of this was to kind of provide the context to it, right? So anyways, let's move on. Leave a comment. What's your thoughts in this dizzle that's going on in the Haitian Parliament, Haitian government, right? I'd love to hear your take. Those who are pro PHTK, those who are anti PHTK, I'd love to hear your comments and your perspective. You already know, like what I'm doing. Get that like button, notify, follow, subscribe, right? And of course, we got Patreon for those who want to take that step above, donate, and allow this show to continue to provide good juice, good content. You already know, Patreon, Seejeanty. Well, until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again.